bringing to it?
Well, Will brings, first of all, he's unbelievable to work with. We've done many, many projects. There's been nothing like this one. And Will is naturally funny. And what's great about this is that the comedy is great and the jeopardy is going to be great. So you mix those two together, I think we have something that hopefully will work.
And we haven't lost anything. You know, the dinosaurs are there, the Sleestaks are there, Chaka's there. And so the fans are really going to be pleased because we were very careful not to upset the fans. Well, the Sleestaks are amazing. You know, we haven't changed the look of the Sleestaks, but now there's more animation. They're taller. They're a little scarier, and when you see
they're more realistic and alive. You know, this technology, you know, from 1974 to today, it's incredible.
Anna Friel plays Holly. She is English, which is our little twist on the character. And I haven't worked with many British actresses or actors, and but what they say is true. They are lushes. So Anna's come to the set numerous times, very drunk. But she's able, that's how good of actress she is. She's able to play it off, and you'd never know it when you watch the film. You're going to say, oh, this woman is completely present, very facile with both dramatic moments and comedy. And but just keep in mind, I mean, that's why I think it's one of the greatest performances ever on film, because she's completely wasted through most of the movie. Danny McBride, who plays Will, is a very lovable, gregarious kind of guy on the surface, but rivers run deep. And many times Danny's been sent home for bringing handguns onto the set. And you know, I don't necessarily have a problem with it, but it's a you just can't do that. There's OSHA regulations and things like that. So Marshall at least thinks that they have a master-servant thing, but Chaka's pretty much messing with Rick Marshall the whole time and trying to either steal my wallet or he immediately bolts in any sort of bad situation. And so he's a bit of a rascal, and yet in the end we come to a mutual understanding and I think friendship. I actually did. I usually lie about that stuff and make it up, but yes, this has been the most kind of stunt work I've ever done, and it's been funny because there's been a handful of times where Brad's like, do you want to try it? Okay. And then it's worked. You know, I haven't, you know, totally killed myself.
They have just been so wonderful, and you're learning off two incredible pros who are not only both brilliant actors but great improvisers, and incredibly funny. The biggest challenge is not to laugh most of the time. They then go on a journey and by mistake end up in something that looks and appears to be an earthquake, but they actually fall off the edge of the world and end up in the middle of sand dunes where they basically the beginning of the film starts of how they are going to get back to where they started. And there's lots of trials and tribulations that gets in the way, not least of those being dinosaurs, and one particular one called Grumpy, who takes a particular dislike to Mr. Rick Marshall. I think it's whatever you decide to make it. It's in our version, it's a land that is a kind of a vortex in time when it's a place where there's a dropping off point where motels and swimming pools and ships from all different times and periods get dropped off, and it's a land where slee stacks live, and there aren't humans, and there's no towns, and there's no traffic, and there's no time constraints. It's just a place where I think you'd be happy to live in it if you were Will or Chaka. But if you're Marshall and Holly, you want to get back to planet Earth. Like another dimension, a land in another dimension.